Now then, in continuation of my cut content video on Tensura Season 3, the recent episode 16, which is titled Benimaru's Ordeal, will be adapting from Chapter 4 of the Volume 8 light novel. And the episode mainly covers the meeting between the Tengu tribe and the Tempest Federation, along with the events that transpired during Benimaru's visit to the Kusha Mountains. However, there were some character moments that were altered from the anime, such as the discussion that Rimuru had with Benimaru and Hakurou about Momiji. So I'll not only provide a breakdown for the episode, but cover the contents that were removed as well. As usual, a spoiler warning for anyone that hasn't watched the episode yet or might find the cut content information I mentioned to be spoilers. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel and share with your friends. To start, episode 16 continues directly from the previous episode 15, having Rimuru meeting with the delegation of the Tango tribe led by Momiji, and before they greeted each other, we thinking Raphael will provide a brief explanation on the Tengu race itself, and everything that was described in the anime will be taken directly from the source material without much changes, although there was an additional line in the light novel where Rimuru stated the elder of the Tango tribe could not attend the audience ceremony because the powers have greatly declined after giving birth to Momiji, and it was for this reason that the young girl had become the chief of the Tengu tribe. Also in the light novel, the negotiation actually took place inside the meeting hall rather than the reception areas like we see in the episode, because Rimuru wanted to discuss about the future relationship of Tempest with the Tengu tribe in a more comfortable setting. That said, before going over the meeting, the anime will provide us with a flashback of Benimaru's visit to the Kusha Mountains, which took place a month ago after the reconciliation with Hinata, but the episode did leave out the part where Benimaru had returned to Tempest after the trip and informed Rimuru about the events that transpired during the negotiations. And it was during this interaction that Benimaru starts to recount the meeting from his perspective, unlike what we see in the episode, which was told from Rimuru's perspective. Regardless, continuing on with the flashback sequence, Benimaru arrived at the summit of the Kusha Mountains with his team, where they were stopped by Tengu warriors at the barrier entrance, and only he along with Albus were allowed to enter the hidden village, so they were escorted to meet with Momiji. And much of their conversation will play out exactly the same as the light novel, but Benimaru failed to realize the severity of proposing to tunnel through the Kusha Mountains, which the Tengu tribe regarded as sacred, so Momiji became offended by such a blasphemous proposal. And because of his own miscalculations, Benimaru actually planned on living in the light novel and returning another time, something that Albus could not stand as she confronted Momiji for calling her a stinking snake. And this wasn't mentioned in the episode, but Albus proceeded to activate her extra skill Snake Eyes, which induces status effects like paralysis, poison, petrification, and other similar attributes, although Momiji was unaffected due to her being a semi-spiritual life form, which meant that she has high resistance against status effects. Adding to this, Momiji constantly had the extra skill God Wolf Sense activated as well, which allows her to have enhanced senses and other similar effects to magic perception, but far more powerful. The skill also provided her with the ability to nullify all illusion or conjuring magic, and because she had sensed Albus's attack before it activated, she was able to counter the skill. The proceeding sequence of the brief battle will happen accordingly to the light novel, with Benimaru being forced to intervene when he sensed that Momiji failed to control the output of her attack, because if he did not, Albus would have been killed. Also, Albus never had a chance against Momiji to begin with, since even Benimaru stated that her strength was likely equivalent to or greater than the ex-Demolord Carrion. And because the animosity between the two girls had reached the breaking point, Benimaru decided to immediately leave the village, but was stopped by the arrival of Kaide, the elder of the Tengu tribe, who reprimanded Momiji for her behavior. With that, the negotiations continue, but Kaide will first share her brief backstory with Benimaru. Apparently, 300 years ago, she traveled across the land to perfect her swordsmanship when she encountered Byakura Araki, the founder of the Oboro Ryu, also known as the Hei style. And this will be the official reveal of not only the founder, but the name of the swordsmanship technique used by the many characters of Tensura as well. Furthermore, it was revealed that Byakura Araki was the grandfather of Hakurou, and for those that don't remember, Byakura was among the group of injured otherworlders that the ogre village took in long ago, so as repayment for the kindness, the otherworlders shared their culture and knowledge with the ogres, including the Hei style, which was passed down to Hakurou by his grandfather. Nonetheless, the rest of Kaide's backstory and how she ended up falling in love with Hakurou will pretty much follow the light novel, although this wasn't explicitly stated in the episode, but after Kaide confessed her love to Hakurou, they shared the night together, and for some unknown reason, she decided to go on a journey to buy milk and leave Hakurou. That's why he did not know about Momiji, and the reason Kaide did not tell Hakurou was because she assumed that he either had died of old age, or he along with the ogres were wiped out by the Orc disaster. And it was hilarious seeing Benimaru's reaction to this outright crazy revelation, and in the light novel he was actually struggling to comprehend the entire situation, but he will further lose his composure when Kaide outright declared that he will marry Momiji in exchange for the allegiance of the Tengu tribe, and them accepting all the conditions of Rimuru. Having said that, the rest of the conversation will happen in a similar fashion to the light novel, and Kaede had always planned on establishing a good relationship with Rimuru even if Benimaru rejects the marriage proposal. And the only reason she wanted Momiji to marry Benimaru was because Kaede was apparently dying, since giving birth and naming Momiji has completely drained her magical capacity, so she wanted to find a suitable partner with a strong benefactor like Benimaru to help her inexperienced daughter in ruling over the Tengu tribe once she dies. Additionally, Kaede thought it was destiny that Hakurou's student Benimaru just so happens to visit their village, and with the appearance of the demon lord Rimuru, the Tengu tribe can finally have a strong ally to support them. In any case, once Benimaru returned from the Kusha Mountains, he discussed with Rimuru about Kaide's proposal, but not knowing what to do, they planned on seeking advice from Hakurou because this involved his daughter's future. However, since Hakurou was still busy in the Farmer Kingdom, they decided to push the issue to a later date or until he returns from his mission, and on the second day of the audience ceremony, Hakurou just so happens to return the night before Rimuru's meeting with the Tengu delegation. The three men would spend the entire night deliberating on a proposal, but they ultimately failed to find a proper answer, so they decided to directly ask Momiji during the audience ceremony. And it's weird the anime omitted this entire sequence because I think it actually makes more sense that Hakurou should be informed about the existence of his daughter prior to their first encounter so that he can at least mentally prepare himself for the reunion. But in the episode, he only learns about Momiji during the audience ceremony after he returned from Falmouth, and somehow he immediately accepted her without even questioning the situation, making the entire reunion felt so unnatural and less emotional, having none of the setup that was revealed in the light novel. So what do you guys think about the reunion scene between Hakurou and Momiji? Leave a comment below to share your thoughts, but for me personally, the light novel version was definitely much better since it felt more natural. With that said, the initial exchange between Rimuru and Momiji after they introduced themselves in the anime would be the same as the light novel, but even though she agreed to all the terms provided by the Tempest Federation, Rimuru noticed that she was still looking quite nervous despite him giving Momiji assurance that their nation would not interfere or have any hostile intentions towards the Tengu. And Rimuru assumes that she probably doesn't want to be looked down upon by Tempest, so she was putting on a confident appearance, but in reality, Momiji thought Rimuru was working with the ex-demon lord Frey to undermine the sovereignty of the Tengu tribe. Because Albus was present during the initial meeting Benimaru had with them, so she interpreted it as an indirect form of political pressuring. And with this revelation, Rimuru was forced to reconsider the conditions of the relationship because it might affect Frey if the Tengu tribe swear allegiance to Tempest, so he quickly gathered his executives to discuss on the matter, which was hilarious despite the somewhat serious implications, seeing them huddled around by the corner while ignoring Momiji. And the contents of the discussion in the anime will follow the light novel, where we learn a bit about the three-way deadlock that involved the Sorceress Dynasty Sarian, the Tengu tribe and the Sky Queen Frey, which had been broken due to Rimuru's actions in defeating Clayman, because Frey along with Carrier had joined Milim to form one of the most powerful nations in the world, so Momiji was worried that Rimuru would work with them to subjugate the Tengu tribe. However, Gyat will inform Rimuru about the current situation over at Frey's side, and it seems that she has given up her ambitions on using the Tengu tribe to target Sarian because she was satisfied with the sky castle that Gyat was building for Milim's capital, and she was focusing on providing the proper education to Milim as well. Also in the light novel, Gyat reveals that Frey was recently busy looking for Milim who has disappeared, and this briefly scared Rimuru because he knows where Milim has been hiding. Anyways, Rimuru shared this information with Momiji and they managed to resolve a misunderstanding, so the meeting ended shortly after with an official signing between the two factions. Then Rimuru was presented with a letter from the Tengu elder, but Shuna mistakenly read the one that was meant for Hakurou, and even I could feel the second-hand embarrassment from Momiji. And much of the preceding sequence would follow the light novel with the arrival of Hakurou, which, like I said just now, made the reunion less compelling, and honestly, it's my only issue with the episode. But I digress. Kaede apparently wanted Hakurou to spend time with his daughter by helping to finish her training, and it was hilarious seeing him going into father mode, forcing Benimaru to make his choice. In addition to that, Shuna made the situation even worse for Benimaru when she reveals that Albus plans on competing against Momiji to win his heart, and if she fails, she doesn't mind becoming his concubine, and this outright broke Benimaru. I guess he's only a capable person on the battlefield but loses when it comes to relationships. And the rest of the scene essentially just devolves into guy talk between Gabiru, Gyat, Gopta and Soe, which doesn't actually have any significance to the overall plot or story, although it's still an amazing sequence, because it helps to show the viewers that despite being side characters, they don't simply interact when they're on screen. Rather, you can sense the chemistry between them like they're realistic characters who have been interacting all this time, while also developing their personal relationship with each other even when they're just in the background. And seeing the way they can casually talk about their love life and bouncing off each other throughout the conversation really makes makes them feel alive and not just a piece of cardboard. So I can understand why the anime kept this sequence. It not only serves as a comedic element but showcases the subtle yet amazing character writing that Tensura is known for. Also, when Goptai complained that Rimuru has his own harem in the episode and it pans to Shuna, Shion and Diablo as well, that shit was insanely funny. Jokes aside, Shuna interrupted that guy talk and returned to the issue involving Benimaru, but apparently he doesn't want to think about marriage yet, although he does clarify that he will only consider having a single partner because in a light novel, he stated there was no point in finding multiple partners since having children would greatly reduce the power of a margin and how dangerous it would be for them. Of course, Momiji misunderstood this statement as Benimaru giving her the approval to fight for his love, so she declared war on Albus, and it seems that when the news spread throughout Tempest, other women who admired Benimaru joined the competition as well. The dude is literally suffering from success. Also, since Rimuru somewhat approved of Benimaru's approach, as long as it doesn't hurt anyone, this causes Shuna and Shion to construe the meaning behind his words, with the both of them declaring their desire to fight for Rimuru's affection. And thus, this ultimately led to the creation of a weird tradition in the Tempest Federation, where people will battle and gain the attention of people they love through a display of strength, taking the concept of love is war quite literally. But yeah, that was my breakdown for episode 16, and it's still a pretty decent episode despite the somewhat disappointing reunion that Hakurou had with Momiji. Overall, it still delivered when it comes to the story and characters, with some insanely funny moments in the episode as well. And I really enjoyed the review of the Tengu tribe, but the biggest takeaway from me was probably the amount of risk Benimaru, Soe and Hakurou have. So what about you guys? What are your thoughts on the episode so far? Did you like Momiji and Kaide's character? Feel free to share opinions and comments down below. Also, if you enjoyed this cat content video, remember to leave a like. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that notification button for more cat content videos as well. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay safe everyone.